there. How are you all doing? I hope everyone are doing fine. We had a nice vacation. I, Nagarjun BM and Monish S are about to explain pulse code modulation and its applications.
Before moving on to the theory part of the pulse code modulation, let us have a look at the simulation of the pulse code modulation. I have been using a software known as the Simulink. I have already specified the components that I will be requiring from the library browser. I have been using a sine wave, that is analog input. I will be using a sample and a hold block that receives the input from the sine wave and upon the particular trigger, and that will hold the input and pass on to the uniform encoder upon the next particular trigger. I will be using a uniform encoder which transfers the sample quantized waveform into words, that is the zeros and ones. I will be using this integer to bit converter and bit to integer converter. As you know that integer to bit and bit to integer converter is used because output of the encoder is in the form of words, that is the digits. You need something that represents these digits in the form of electrical waveform. It will be in the form of a square wave, and I will be using a uniform decoder, convert the staircase function into a analog waveform. I will be using the Butterworth low pass analog filter design that is used to limit the bandwidth of the message signal to W hertz, and I will be using two sinks, that is the scope 1 and the scope. So this scope and scope 1 are nothing but sinks that is used to represent the output of a particular block at a particular simulation time. At the particular simulation time, scope will be representing sample and hold, this uniform encoder, integer to bit, and bit to integer converter, uniform decoder, and Butterworth will be displayed by the scope 1. And before moving on, you have to specify what are your inputs. Have been specified by 2 by 2. Okay, you have to specify what are your inputs to each and every block. Okay, before moving on to the simulation, you have to save it and then you have to run it, and then you can see that there are two windows opened, and this is the sine wave, this is the pulse wave. Apart from this, we can easily analyze from another logic analyzer. Okay, now let us specify the number of plots. We need 2, and this is 3. Okay, now we have a sine wave, and then will be having a pulse generator. See what happens if I produce a pulse upon the sine wave. You can see that only half of the sine wave is covered with the pulse, and then you have your uniform encoder. This is the output of the encoder, and then we will be having a bit to integer converter. This is the output of the bit to integer converter, and then you will be converting it into a square wave, that is the integer to bit, and then you will be having, let us change the color of this. You have your bit to integer converter, you have your this, and then you have your final analog filter designs output. This is the analog output and this. Thank you.
Hey, it's Nagarjun again. Have you ever wondered while browsing any content or working on computer or hearing to any music how the voice that is audio and video are visible in your screen?
Hey, we had a perfectly working good condition system, that is a continuous wave modulation system, in which the parameters of the carrier wave such as the amplitude, frequency and the phase was varied in accordance with the input signal, and the same modulated analog signal was transmitted over this channel. So why did the people go for digital transmission? However, it was not until the development of the solid state electronics, microelectronics and large scale integration in 1970s that gave the right capabilities to take advantage of a digital transmission in an efficient and an economical fashion. The very first step in this evolution from analog to digital transmission is the conversion of common information sources such as the voice and the music, which are inherently analog in nature, into a digital representation. This analog to digital conversion and the representation of analog information as a sequence of pulses was the main agenda of digital transmission or the pulse modulation. However, the people came to realize its good sides. That is, relatively inexpensive digital circuitry may be used extensively in the system. Digital information can be encrypted for security and coded against errors and compressed to reduce storage and transmission costs, meaning it was very much pocket friendly. The possibility of a uniform format for different kinds of pulses was also there, another agenda. The noise performance of the digital system can be superior to that of an analog communication system. However, the only disadvantage regarding our topic, that is the pulse code modulation, was that it had a very much wider bandwidth than the corresponding analog signal. Pulse code modulation is nothing but a technique for rounding off amplitudes of samples of an analog waveform. This is the second of the two operations required to change an analog signal into a digital signal. The rounding off operation is known as quantization. Once each sample value is rounded off to an appropriate quantization level, we need to transfer only enough information so that the receiver knows which level is being sent. The various levels are binary coded. This is done in the encoding stage. In practice, the sampling, quantizing and encoding are performed in a single device known as analog to digital converter. This is the block diagram of pulse code modulation. The incoming message signal is passed through a low pass filter to remove unwanted high frequency components present in it, thus making the signal G of t strictly band limited to WHz. The signal G of t is then sampled using a train of rectangular pulses having a width that tends to 0. Thus we do a near ideal sampling. Sampling frequency chosen is greater than 2W. Normally we sample at a rate at 2.2W, known as the engineer's sampling rate. A quantizer rounds off these sample values to a discrete value in a set of L quantization level. The resulting quantized sample GQ of NTS are discrete in time by the virtue of sampling and discrete in amplitude by the virtue of quantizing. Graphically, quantizing process means that a straight line representing the relation between the input and the output of a linear continuous system is replaced by a staircase characteristic. You can see one such characteristics in the graph. The peak-to-peak value of G of NTS is subdivided into a finite set of decision levels that are assigned to the rises of the staircase. The quantized value GQ of NTS are selected from a finite set of representation levels or quantization levels corresponding to the treads of the staircase waveform. Coming to the encoding, an encoder translates a quantized sample into a digital code words. As you know, binary consists of 0 and 1. Each digital word consists of n bits. You know that digits are just abstraction. We need a way to describe a message information in the form of an electrical waveform, that is the binary digits into an electrical waveform. The two important representation of binary digits by electrical waveform are non-return to 0 unipolar and non-return to 0 polar. The primary reason for going digital is the ease at which the digital signals can be regenerated compared to the analog signal. The shape of the pulse is affected mainly by two mechanisms. One is the unwanted electrical noise and other disturbances, and the second one is the non-ideal transfer function of the transmission medium. During the time of the propagation, a pulse can surely be identified and made to have a regeneration. The circuit that perform regenerations at different intervals along the communication route are known as regenerative repeaters. The regenerative repeaters consist of three blocks: amplifier, equalizer, a timing circuit, and a decision making device. The function of the amplifier is to shape the received pulses and compensate the effects of amplitude and phase distortion. The output of amplifier is also given to a timing circuit which produces a train of pulses known as a sampling waveform. Using the sampling waveform, the output of amplifier is sampled at different sampling instant. If the sampled value is greater than the present threshold value, the decision making device is enabled. Thus, for example, in a PCM system using a non-return to 0 unipolar signaling, the decision making device takes a decision in every bit interval as to whether or not the pulse is present. If the decision is yes, the new pulse is sent to the next repeater. If the decision is no, there is no pulse sent. Thank you. Next stage is the decoding. The output of a decoder is a staircase approximate of G of t, similar to flat top sampling, except the sample values have been quantized. In other words, the output of a decoder is a waveform GQ of t. The final operation in the receiver is to recover the analog signal. This is done by the reconstruction. This is accomplished by passing GQ of t through a low pass filter whose cutoff frequency is equal to the message bandwidth W. Low pass filtering then eliminates step variation in GQ of t and produces a smooth output signal G dash of t, which differs from the message signal G of t to the extent that the quantized sample differ from the exact sample values, that is a G of NTS. Perfect message reconstruction is hence impossible in PCM, even when the channel noise is absent. The sampling, quantization and encoding introduces permanent errors that appear at the receiver as quantization noise in the reconstructed message signal. You can see the decoded signal and the reconstruction signal in the figure shown. One of the best uses of the PCM is the digital telephone. The earliest end-to-end analog telephone networks to be modified and upgraded to transmission networks with digital signal 1 carrier system date back to the early 1960s. They were designed to support the basic 3 kHz voice channel by sampling the bandwidth limited analog voice signal and encoding using pulse code modulation. Early PCM codec filters were implemented as passive resistor, capacitor and inductive filter circuits with analog to digital conversion for digitizing voice and digital to analog conversion for reconstruction of voice, handled by the discrete device. Early digital telephony was impractical due to low performance and high cost of early PCM codec filters.